So now time to sort out the fuel system. Obviously I've got the recess in my car that I put in here that I made a really nice fuel tank for, then changed my mind about it, so I sold it to old Mr. Popular for his, and now I'm kind of wishing that I hadn't, because it was actually perfect. So I'm basically going to start remaking it, as you do. I did get given this tank here by AH Fabrications. The boss gave me this old sample tank that I was going to modify and get to fit, but then I've got these on the shelf that were for a job a couple of years ago that never came off, and they're pre-roll bodies that I made. So basically the idea now is to have two tanks. Going to use one for road use. It's probably going to be around 50 litres, 60 maybe. I'm going to do some maths now and see how it splits down, and then I'm going to have my continental fuel tank, so in case I go to like the ring, or if I go and do the NC 500 or anything like that, I can have a lot more fuel in the car, and it will just hop over on like either a switchable like lift pump, or I can put a sensor in it that when the main tank drops to a certain level, it switches this lift pump on and fires it across. But basically I think what I'm going to do is have two tanks that are tapered to fit in that hole, so I can just carry a lot more fuel. So this is tonight's job. So onto the fuel system now. I decided not to half-ass it with cutting up stuff that I've got lying around and just make a pair of tanks. If any of you saw my last one, you'll basically realise that I've remade the tank that I made and then sold to Mr. Popular for his. It is slightly different. Still got these tapered ends, so it's as big as they can be in the floor space. But what I've decided to do is have two separate fuel tanks. So this one here is about 52 litres as a main tank. Then this one here is, if I remember right, about 26 or 27. I got the math somewhere. As a long range tank, if I go and do like the Nürburgring and drive it over, or do the NC 500, something like that. And it's also going to be good if I do hill climbs as well, that I can just have a small tank full of fuel and not be carrying, you know, an extra 50-60 kilos in the car of just dead weight. So yeah, we're going to have a split tank, and then what I'll probably end up doing is have some sort of lift pump that I can switch either on like a level float or just a manual thing that I can put the fuel from this side over onto this one. So obviously nut ring on each one so I can attach all the gubbins. I've just put this pressing in, firstly give it a bit of strength where the nut ring goes on, but it also looks pretty cool. So next thing is to work out the fuel, how we're going to get it out. So what I've decided is to have a swirl pot inside the tank, and then have the fuel pump itself inside the swirl pot. So I'll knock something up now that basically is the main body with a flange, so the flange can then bolt to the inspection panel with the pump inside it. So I'll have to have a think about how to mount the pump on the inside without disturbing the swirl of the fuel in it. And then I'm going to make like a separate top to the swirl pot where the returning fuel comes in and swirls around, and then probably do a similar thing where I put a bleed on top in a piece of like thick wall pipe coming down the side, just to make it look a bit different and make it look quite neat. So I'll get my tools out, I think, and start making a swirl pot. So this is the swirl pot that's going to go in the tank. I've put a little mount in there that I'm using a 979, Bosch 979, only because we've literally got a pallet of them, like an actual pallet at work, and they've now phased out the old 979 for the newer pumps. so we're probably not going to sell many of these. So in the future, if I ever need a new fuel pump, there's just going to be a metric shit ton of 979s that I can just grab off the shelf. So that then, well, you can see that's welded to the bottom here, and then there's holes in the sides for the fuel to go in. That then sits, the pump goes in there and sits in there. I won't dog it down because I don't want to get it stuck. And then you'll notice that on these pumps, see, these because this is a new pump, it's still got the sticky stuff around it. It's still got this this sticker, which I'll take off mine, which give me a little bit more room. And then it's got this this bead in it, so that bead sits on the top there, and then this little ring then goes down over the top, clamps down, holds the whole thing in place, so the pump can't move. And then obviously all the bits come out. This is then going to go onto the underside of this plate, so that's all going to be inside the tank. And then on the top here, slightly smaller top is going to sit on there with the fuel coming in, and then I'm going to run this pipe around the top of it as the drains go back in. So another little oversight in the race to get this anodized, I forgot to put a mount on here for the lift pump, so I don't really fancy welding it now that it's anodized, and it's more money in fittings and convoluted fuel line. So what I'm going to do is take a piece of hex bar, put a 916 UNF thread in it, and then I can use that then to mount the pump as a bit of a like an adapter. So I'll stick this on the lathe, machine a thread in each end, and then probably turn this down so it's cylindrical, with just a hex on the top then, to put a spanner on it. So there it is. This is the bit I've just machined up on the lathe as an extension bar to hang the pump off. Wanted to make it look like it's been thought about, to disguise the fact that it was a bit of a fuck up, a bit of an oversight. But now that that's done, this can then go into this, which is the auxiliary fuel tank. And then this pump will obviously always feed into the swirl pot here for the main tank that I'm just plumbing up now. So it's basically a standalone tank just for extra capacity, that will still feed into this pot that obviously has the main high pressure fuel pump in. So before I fit it, this is the top panel for the main fuel tank. So what we've got here is obviously swirl in from the other lift pump on the auxiliary tank, swirl in, return from the fuel rail, and then inside here that's got the 979 pump, which is inside, and then obviously the lift pump on here that fires the fuel into the swirl pot. So this should cope with whatever I throw at it. So tank's all ready to go, it's all foamed. So I'll get this bolted down and stick it in the car. Right, so that's the fuel system all in. I've obviously got to shorten a few lines now, but that's not going to be an issue. I think when I do the rest of the car, I'll take the seats back out because I need to add a bit more wiring. But essentially, yeah, this is going to be the auxiliary tank that fires fuel over to this one when I need it. I was going to put like a level sender, like a low level float in that one and that one that turn the pumps on and off. But they're pretty sensitive to fluid levels. So if the fuel's sloshing about, it'll spark the fuel pumps on and off. And these lift pumps don't like being treated like that. So that will literally just be a tank that I can just dump fuel over when I need it, and then not carry so much fuel in this main one. Then obviously just feed to the engine and then return back from the fuel rail. So next thing is to get all this wired up, and then make some straps to hold it in place, which I haven't really thought much about how I'm going to do that, but yeah, it's going to look pretty trick in the back of the car when you sort of look through and see that in the back. So yeah, as I always say, happy with that.